One of my biggest messages, and truly the crux of my work, is reframing the conversation away from the old labels that you are codependent, you are a perfectionist, you are a people pleaser, and instead really seeing these habits as survival skills and strategies, really seeing how brilliant the little kid version of you was to take on these adaptive ways of moving through the world.
Hi, I'm Dr. Avanti Kumar Singh, and this is the Healing Catalyst podcast. I'm a medical doctor with over 20 years of experience and also a lifelong practitioner of Ayurveda. I created the Healing Catalyst podcast because we all deserve a different kind of conversation about health, one that's honest, holistic, and rooted in both science and soul. On this show, I'm joined by the world's leading experts to give you science-backed tools that you can start using today and actually stick with to build real health and longevity. I am so glad you're here. Now let's get to it. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the Healing Catalyst podcast. I'm Dr. Avanti Kumar Singh, and I have to be honest with you. Today's conversation, it was part interview and part therapy session for me. Yes, exactly. My guest, Bea, and I were laughing. We were going deep, and the whole time I kept catching myself thinking, wow, she's describing me and my entire life. First generation, check. Immigrant parents, check. Oldest daughter, check. The one who learned to take care of everyone else before she even knew that she had needs of her own. Check, check, check. Yep, I literally check every single box. So if you're anything like me, buckle up. This one is going to hit home. Because like me, you've probably tried the affirmations, the gratitude journal, maybe even therapy, which I definitely have. You've read the books about boundaries and you know that you're supposed to be saying no more often. You should put yourself first. Stop people pleasing. You know what to do. So why can't you do it? I'm asking myself the same thing. Maybe you set a boundary and then felt so guilty that you took it back 5 minutes later. I do that all the time. Maybe you're the one everyone counts on, the one who holds it all together, the one who says, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, when you're not fine at all. And lately you're feeling exhausted, resentful, wondering if this is just the way life will always be. And if that's you, I really think that this episode is going to change everything for you. Because here's what no one tells you. You can't think your way out of a body that doesn't feel safe. Affirmations do not work when your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. Boundaries don't hold when your body is screaming that you're in danger and that you're not safe. And for every woman who's listening, who grew up reading the room, just like I did, anticipating everyone else's needs, everyone else's thoughts, and keeping the peace for everyone at any cost, including your own, your nervous system has been running on a survival program, this operating system, for decades. It's not a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's biology. And my guest today is Bea Albina, a UCSF-trained family nurse practitioner, somatic experiencing practitioner, master certified somatic life coach, breathwork meditation guide, and the author of the best-selling book, End Emotional Outsourcing, a guide to overcoming codependent, perfectionist, and people-pleasing habits. Her work is grounded in somatics and polyvagal theory, and she's really brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And you'll hear this today at breaking down exactly why so many of us, so many high-functioning women feel stuck. Today, we're going to talk about what emotional outsourcing actually is and how it shows up as codependency, perfectionism, and people-pleasing. We get into the science of why these patterns actually form in childhood and the real health consequences of living in chronic hypervigilance. And most importantly, we talk about where to actually start because it's not where you think. And by the end of this episode, you're going to understand why nothing has really worked very well so far and what to do instead. Because the truth is, You developed a brilliant survival strategy, and now you get to choose something different. Let's dive in. Bea, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
absolutely. And thank you for your book. Here it is. I just got it. I'm so excited. It's
Oh,
gorgeous. And I love this idea of emotional outsourcing. And I want to get into all things because I think that this is a common thing for many women, but they don't even know that this is them. The women who are always anticipating everything that everyone else needs and doing it before they even think about it
mhm,
and
mhm.
saying yes when they mean no
Oh my
and
goodness.
all these things,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I think that there's so many of us, myself included, who do this and we're aware of it maybe. We may not have the words to identify it, but then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? So I'm hoping that we can get into that of like, what are we supposed to do? Where do we start?
Right.
You
Yes.
know? And you have worked with many high functioning women who look like they have it all together on the outside, but they're not coming to you saying, I'm a people pleaser, right?
Nope.
That there's just something else going on. So, what do they really say when they come to talk to you? Like, what's going on for them?
Yeah. Mostly what I hear is I think life can be better.
Mm.
I'm tired of things being this way, but the this way is vague, right? Like
Uh-huh.
this restlessness, this discontent. Like I
Right.
thought life would be better than this. I did, as you said, all the on paper things, all the
Right.
functional freeze things, all the performing things. I got
Sure.
the fancy job and maybe the fancy graduate degree. I had the kids, the house, the car, the all the everything.
Right.
Why aren't I happy? Why doesn't this
Mm.
feel good? Why can't I sit down and watch a movie with my family? Why do I constantly have tummy troubles? Why am I exhausted? And then perimenopause, and why can't I sleep? And like, why does everything either feel terrible, but I get a lot of like, I think this can be better. I was kind of promised better if I jumped through all the hoops and did all the good girl, good wife, good employee, good mother, good things. This would be better, but it's not. And then we sort of start to tease out feeling responsible for other people's emotions. Like you can't relax if someone's upset. You feel compelled to fix everyone, apologizing constantly, even when you didn't do anything wrong and you're not even Canadian, avoiding conflict at all costs, even if it means lying, downplaying your needs, stuffing down your feelings, feeling resentful, and either lashing out at people or just swallowing it, being in relationship across the board from that like giving till you're exhausted position, constantly taking in the fixer upper, really feeling like you have to earn love, like you're not worthy of love and care in this core way. That's what we suss out once we start the work.
Okay. That sounds like a lot of women, myself included, my
Oh,
friends included. It's a lot of us. We think that we're functioning really well, but not feeling well, and we don't know the connection. So
right.
I hope that we can make those connections for people because I'm so interested because I know it
Yeah.
applies to me too. This might just become a
Yes.
therapy session, but
Yeah.
um, what exactly is emotional outsourcing? Because I know that is sort of the crux of your book and of sort of your
Yeah.
work. What does that mean, even?
Yeah. So I define emotional outsourcing as when we chronically and habitually source our sense of the three vital human needs: safety, belonging, and worth from everyone and everything outside of ourselves instead of from within at a great cost to self.
Ooh, gotta take that in.
Listen, I know it's a lot to process. Yeah. And each word is really thoughtfully chosen
It is.
because one of my biggest messages and truly the crux of my work is reframing the conversation away from the old labels that
Mhm,
you are codependent, you are a perfectionist, you are a people pleaser,
mhm,
and instead really seeing these habits as survival skills and strategies, not weaknesses or defects in your character or anything wrong with you,
mhm,
but really seeing how brilliant the little kid version of you was to take on these adaptive ways moving through the world.
mhm. Yeah, I think there's something so powerful in that because you didn't once use all these words that maybe some of us have heard of: codependent, high functioning codependent, people pleaser, right? All of these words that it's sort of like the walls go up and you're like, that's not me. Oh my gosh, that can't be me. That's not me, right? But
Yeah.
the way you're describing it is so much easier to connect with. So, can you say it again? What is emotional outsourcing?
Yeah. It's when we chronically and habitually.
Hmm.
So, what I'm going to there is procedural memory. It's implicit memory, right?
Uh-huh.
We're not actively deciding, you know what would be super great today? How about my sense of self is completely dependent on whether other people appear to like me based on
Right,
my own rubric that's based on my childhood wounding.
right.
No. Cut it out,
Hmm.
everybody. Like, no one's choosing this. It's
Right,
the procedural memory in our brain, the procedure of driving a car, right?
right,
You don't think about it, right? You just
right.
get in and boopity boop, you're at the supermarket, right?
Mhm.
Same. You turn to your partner, you say, honey, would you like sushi tonight? And they make that face, which is the same face your dad made when he was disappointed. And, oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's fine. I actually didn't really want sushi. I mean, what a dumb suggestion. Forget about it. What do you
Right.
want?
Mhm.
Okay. So chronically and habitually source our sense of the three most vital human needs.
Mhm.
So as humans, we're not giraffes. Giraffes are born and they can stand up and they can walk and they can do giraffe stuff. We are born deeply dependent.
Mhm.
That's the design. And so for a very long time, we need bigger humans. We need our caregivers.
Right.
And what we need the most is to feel attuned to because we are, with all due respect, I actually used to be a baby, so I know a thing or two about. Were you one too?
Yeah,
Oh my God, what
amazingly.
are the chances?
I
This is
know.
kismet.
Wow.
What a delight. What a delight.
I
So
know.
listen, you might remember, it's been a couple years on this side of the mic, but
Uh-huh.
you got to keep the big ones happy because they know
Sure.
where the food is, the water is, they keep you warm.
Mhm.
And if they don't seem to approve
Right.
of who you are and who you are being, what does a smart kid do? But change,
Mhm.
but hide away your sensitivity or your loudness.
Right.
Change how you show up so that you can source safety, belonging, and worth from them fully. And so we lose the ability to source it within because it gets procedured out.
Right.
It's just not how we function on any given Wednesday. We're not self-referential.
Right. It's almost like this operating system that
Yeah.
you just default to, right? That's
Yes.
kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing that kept coming up for me as a physician, as, first generation immigrant's
Yeah.
daughter, the older daughter, right? All of these things.
Mhm.
I also, what I'm hearing is that like you become so good, so skilled at reading the entire room of everything that's going on and everyone's moods and like all the nuances.
Yeah.
And then you adapt. 'Cause I know
Yep.
that that is definitely something that I've always done. It's probably why I chose to become a doctor too, because I'm very good at listening and observing, but in this case, it's probably not serving me.
Yeah, I've actually wanted to do so the main way people work with me is my 6-month course Anchored, and I've been wanting to do one for those of us in healthcare,
Mhm.
especially eldest daughters in healthcare, because I think we're like
That's me.
we're quite the that's me too. I think we're
Mhm.
quite the subsect of women who were raised up truly looking outside of ourselves, both for
Mhm.
approval and you know what? We got darn good at reading the room,
Oh, for sure.
right? We were pretty
Yeah.
champion at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Olympic level,
Yep.
gold medal. Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. And the last part is sourcing all those things at a great cost to self. And
Mhm.
that part's really important because what people will say is, "But I don't wanna stop being loving or caring or giving." To which I say, "Don't. Just
Mhm.
don't do it at a cost to self." Right? Community's inconvenient,
Right.
right? Community's annoying. I don't wanna drive you to the airport, but I'm gonna.
Right.
Right? Like, I went to a friend's house for dinner the other night. She really goes, "Can you pick up 2 bottles of cava and 2 of red from the place all the way across town?"
Mhm.
I did not want to, but I wanted community, so I frickin' did it. But so there's a difference between that and at a cost to self, capital S self,
Uh-huh.
meaning it hurts who you are and the way you think about and relate to you as a mammal to
Right.
keep doing this.
So here's my question for you,
Yeah.
though. Like, I don't even quite understand what the difference, like, how would you even know the difference from that example you gave of the cost to self versus the cost of wanting community? Because to me,
Yes.
like the example you gave of driving across town to get something for your friend's house because you
Right.
want community and you didn't want to do it, it's like, but isn't that a cost to self? Like, how do you know?
Yeah. So capital S self, meaning who I am, how I think about me, how I relate to me, if I value me. So when I talk about the ways to start undoing emotional outsourcing, the first is build an internal check-in reflex before you check in with anyone else. Yeah. So, and this is the work to pause and to feel into your body and to get curious. Am I agreeing to do this? Am I saying yes? Because a part of me wants reassurance, permission, or approval.
Okay.
Yeah. So when Elena
Mhm.
said, "Oh, can you go to the place and get the thing?"
Yeah.
I felt into my body. And
Mhm.
what I felt was freaking annoying. Okay. Why did I want to do it? Because I love her. She made
Right.
dinner. That's delightful. It's the freaking least I can do. I'm also Latina. I'm not going to show up empty-handed, so I'm going to get something she doesn't want when in a half hour of driving I can get what she does.
Mhm.
I was not doing it for her to like me. I was not doing it for her to approve of me. I was not doing it for her to think I'm a better friend or a better neighbor, a better community member. I was not doing it towards any goal of changing her thinking, her feeling, her story about me. I was also not doing it to create any false sensation within myself. I was not doing it so that I would feel more better about me
Right.
or to prop up a false self,
Mhm.
such as the martyr who always drives across town for her
Right.
friends, right?
Right.
I wasn't doing it for any reason other than I love her so sure. I love her so fine. The chicken she made was outstanding. So it all worked out.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing to create sensation within her.
Right.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
if we back up, codependent thinking is managing other people to attempt to feel safe. People pleasing is attempting to keep others comfortable to avoid rejection. And perfectionism or perfectionist habits is controlling yourself to attempt to earn love. So I wasn't engaging in any of that. And so that's that check-in that allows you to, am I here with me or am I projecting self out into the world to create an outcome?
Right.
Right.
Okay, so this example is sort of one that you write about in the book, which is a patient you had, Louisa, this very high functioning, successful, capable woman who can't decide what to have for dinner.
Uh-huh.
What's going on there?
I mean, listen, I feel like it's so common.
It is, it is.
It's
And
so
I'm
common.
asking for a friend. Okay.
Ahem. Sure, I know that friend. I've met that
Yeah.
friend. Ahem.
Hmm.
Anyway, so what's happening there? The same
Yeah.
thing of like self is outside of you.
Hmm.
What does wellness culture and diet culture tell me to eat? Well, I don't want to get fat. Wait, I read that this kind of food is bad for people who have an L in their name, and this kind of food is really great. And I saw that one influencer in the supermarket with no shoes on saying that I shouldn't eat any food with a vowel in the name. And then my dad says I shouldn't eat and all the other stories and the thoughts
Hmm.
supersede our own desire.
Hmm.
And then you bring family and relationships in. And what does keeping everyone else happy with me, not everyone else happy, but happy with me,
Hmm.
then supersedes what we actually want.
And so that's why she can't make the decision about what to have for dinner. Is it also decision fatigue?
Oh,
Because
for
that's
sure.
real for so many people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's beyond emotional outsourcing. That's just like, have you tried to buy shampoo lately? Like, what is going on? There's like 4,000 options,
Right. Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a reality for all of us. But I think it's really hard in emotional outsourcing habits to make decisions because we're not used to our opinion mattering.
Mm-hmm.
When we try to make our opinion matter, that whole don't be selfish, don't be self-focused, someone else knows better than you, someone else is the external authority.
Right.
That story comes rearing up and takes over. And then that leads us into self-doubt. And that sort of like amygdala dominance, as it were, right? If we're
Mm-hmm.
used to this hypervigilance, then the amygdala is like, hold on a second.
Exactly.
You're going to make a decision. I don't know about that.
Always scanning for what everybody else
Ooh,
needs. That's
yeah.
what your prefrontal cortex is involved in. So it can't
Mm-hmm.
even make a choice of something so simple as dinner. Oh.
I know.
So if you're standing in front of the fridge and you're just making a decision about dinner for yourself
Yeah.
and you can't decide,
Yeah.
that still could be emotional outsourcing because you're going through a whole algorithm of everybody else, even though you're the only one who's eating dinner.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
Because I think that a lot of, again, these quote high functioning women like myself, right,
Mm.
would say, oh, that's just me having decision fatigue. But that same scenario
Yeah.
will also show up when my husband is sitting in the room. And is it decision fatigue or is it emotional outsourcing? Because then it's like, wait, what's happening here?
And so that's when you ask yourself,
Right.
like, what's this actually about?
Right.
And like, let's be real, one of the weirdest parts for me about being a grown up is having to decide what to eat at least between 3 and 17 times a day.
Yeah.
Like it
Mhm.
is really fatiguing, and it's silly that it's so fatiguing, and that like there's so much dishes in being a grown up. Nobody told me.
Yeah.
Did you know? I didn't know. Anyway,
Adulting, right?
right?
Yeah.
Gosh. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's decision fatigue, but again, it comes down to this question of
Mhm.
like, what's the what here? Do I have 45 people's voices in my head influencing me? And are they taking primacy to my intuition and my discernment?
Right.
Because am I saying like, well, did I hit my protein goal? But now we
Yeah.
need to be thinking about fiber. And like, is someone else's script running your snacks?
Yeah.
It was something I saw in clinic constantly. Like the number of times I'd have patients say, I don't know what to eat. Tell me what to eat.
Mhm.
And I've never been one for dependency, right? I don't want anyone dependent on me.
Sure.
But people would get pretty PO'd when I'd say, well, what feels good in your body?
Mhm.
Because they both had no idea and no longer trusted it.
Right. Well, so that brings me to this question because that whole thing when you ask something of someone, of a woman, let's say that's like this, what do
Mhm.
you want? And she's
No
like,
clue.
I don't know. I literally don't know.
Deer in the
Right?
headlights.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
so I guess what I would want to know is if we're wondering if this applies to us,
Yeah.
me again asking for a friend, this emotional outsourcing sort of
Yeah.
personality operating system, what does this actually look like day to day? Like, what are some of the common, maybe physical or emotional or even like relational signs that someone is living in this kind of state?
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know that I would necessarily say, "Oh yeah, I'm emotionally outsourcing based on all the things you said because I'm a people pleaser, maybe I'm a perfection, all those things, but like maybe some of the ways it shows up, some of us could identify with and be like, "Oh, maybe I should take a look at this."
Yeah. And I think it's a spectrum like everything else.
Yeah.
Capitalism really likes us to think in very binary ways because it's the only way to sell us something.
Right.
Well, either I have it or I don't, right? It's a spectrum, and we can exhibit more emotional outsourcing habits in some relationships than others.
Okay.
So maybe you go home to visit your family of origin, and all of a sudden you're 14 and you're doing all of these things.
Right.
And maybe you exhibit this in your marriage, but not with your work friends or your college friends. So things show up differently and to different extents in different areas. So
Sure.
we talked about things like feeling responsible for other people's emotions, apologizing a lot, being resentful. At work, we say yes, yes, yes to extra projects, unpaid labor. I often come across like the office mom kind of vibe, even
Yeah.
if you're the attending.
Right.
Like it's a whole vibe, right?
For sure.
Feeling guilty when you take a break or set a boundary, over explaining when you need to take time off. But that's sort of a general one, right? We tend to over explain or over justify
Mm-hmm.
because, again, we don't have that grounded, embodied sense of belonging and worth
Right.
that we can just say, I'm not available.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I would love to help you, but I can't help you because.
Yeah.
We avoid advocating for ourselves because it feels selfish. It feels scary. We don't want someone to be upset with us. Conflict is like a major, big no-no. And so really managing others' reactions to feedback, even when it's your job to give feedback, or avoiding any sort of confrontation or conflict. So like eating your
Right.
feelings, eating your upsetness, really, I don't want to go there.
Right.
There's also the other side of the emotional outsourcer who really can be that sort of brash, know-it-all, doesn't mind the conflict at all, because all of it is about keeping people at arm's length in a way. Because if they get closer to you, then your vulnerability is available. And that's just all too scary if you don't think you have inherent worth.
Right. And you're
Right.
not safe also. You feel very
Not
unsafe.
at all, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, of course, we can't make a decision, right? We ask the entire peanut gallery. We often feel paralyzed
Right.
when making a decision, and we choose what's easier for others, even if it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or painful for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, we know we can handle it. I can take it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just constantly, chronically disappointed anyway. So what's one more? Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I'll work a triple. Don't worry about it.
So how does this pattern form? You kind of alluded to it earlier, but why is it that it happens to some of us and not others? And it can't be just only birth order or being immigrant, or
Yeah, sure.
woman, all that. I know those are factors, but what is it that happens? How does the pattern actually happen where some people fall into this emotional outsourcing operating system versus other people who don't?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's modeling. So what's modeled in the home? So how you see your caregivers. When we think about little kids, I talk about this in chapter 2 of the book. I talk about mirror neurons, colloquially the monkey see, monkey do part
Right.
of the brain, that we see the way our 2 or more caregivers relate to one another, then
Mm-hmm.
becomes the pattern for how we relate to them,
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves, and to other people. And we just monkey them because that's all we know to do. I think especially, we were talking about being immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the immigrant myself. And my parents didn't have friends in the US,
Mm-hmm.
right? We weren't around a lot of other adults that weren't my parents or teachers. That was pretty much it.
Right.
And so my only way of learning how do people adult is watching the 2 adults who were my only adult, because we didn't have any family in the US.
Sure.
So I think that's super common, is that you just do what you see.
Right.
So then we add in society, we add in culture, we add in religion, community for folks who are raised with all of that stuff. And we learn to be the people we think the grown-ups around us want us to be.
Right.
And so, yeah, we add in ACEs, right? The adverse
Right.
childhood experiences, the way our child bodies process stress, distress, and trauma. Either we're supported, we're attuned to, we get the care we need
Right.
in the moment and the moments right after a stressful incident,
Right.
or we
Or we
don't.
don't.
And they
Mhm.
leave an imprint in the brain that often is coded as shame.
Right.
So in chapter 8 in the book is all about shame and how it really is this underlying web that holds emotional outsourcing together.
Mhm.
I was coaching a woman last night who comes from a very, she uses the word waspy, but a very waspy background that is like they're Swedish Catholic growing or something like that, or
Okay.
Christians rather. And she talks a lot about how everything was shame. Like everything was shame coded. Like
Right.
even saying like, I have to pee. It's
Mm.
like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It was very whispered about. Like
Mhm.
just peeing. Like
Right.
just
Right.
peeing. Right. And so there's all these layers of shame within different religious sects, within different family units and different groups that lead us to believe like there's something inherently wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think
Right.
some families don't have that. I will be honest, I haven't met a lot of those people.
Mm-hmm.
But there are, I've heard tell that there are
You've
families. I've
heard
heard
in
a
the grapevine.
rumor.
Yeah,
I
I heard
heard
this
it through the
rumor.
grapevine that there
Yeah.
are families out there where kids
Right.
are really attuned to, really seen and respected as themselves,
Mm-hmm.
really encouraged to live in their authenticity, that their bodily autonomy truly matters. They
Right.
are encouraged to set limits and have boundaries, and those limits and boundaries are respected. Their parents are emotionally mature, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in emotional outsourcing, there is not emotional maturity.
Right.
And so neither the parents don't have it, and so they don't model it, and the kids don't know what it looks or feels or smells like, so they
Right.
don't know to mature into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emotional outsourcing is in its way stunted maturation,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And so I don't know, what's a little monkey to do but do what the big monkeys do,
Yeah, it makes total sense that you're
right?
modeling what you're seeing, you're living what
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
you're seeing, right? So
Right.
this is really interesting. Like the most amazing thing about what you also talk about is that we have to start with the nervous system to deal with this, right?
Yeah.
Before the mindset work, before the
Yeah.
boundaries, because wellness culture will tell you just set boundaries.
Yeah.
Do some affirmations,
Ooh, affirmations. Oh.
right? And while these are powerful concepts, I get it and they have a place, but you really talk about starting with the nervous system, grounded in this polyvagal theory. So let's first of
Yeah.
all talk about what is polyvagal theory, because I know
Yeah.
that's something that you're very interested in. I'm very interested in.
Yes. So polyvagal theory is the work of Dr. Stephen Porges, PhD, translated into English by Deb Dana. She's a social worker. God, I love social workers. His work is on heart rate variability on neonates in the neonatal intensive care unit. It's not directly, doesn't feel very applicable to us grown-ups. And there are some significant issues with the theory
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think we need to get into the nitty-gritty of here.
No.
I use it as a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a metaphor, it's very useful to help us understand that our nervous system is constantly scanning the environment
Yep.
in that binary amygdala way through neuroception, the nervous system's septing or knowing, asking, will it kill me? Will it kill me? Will it
Right.
kill me?
Right.
Is this doom? Am I about to be lunch? Or
Right.
what I like to say with my clients, like, is that a lion?
Right.
And so we need to understand that we have this human negativity bias that's constantly asking, is it lion? And that we're always primed to jump into sympathetic activation, which is
Right.
fight or flight, adrenaline, norepinephrine. Let's go. Lions are coming. Oh my gosh, you better run. Shunt all the blood, all the everything, heart and lung machine. Well, I
Yep.
can't feel my hands. I'm getting anxious. I'm getting
Right.
worried. I'm starting to get panicky. Run.
Mm-hmm.
And once the mammal's been doing that for too long, and in most of us, it's way more subtle than that because we're
Mm-hmm.
not.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know about where you live, but there haven't been that many lion attacks lately where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
okay, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad that's the case there too. So, once we've been doing that hypervigilant, everything's trying to kill me. Does he make a face when I suggest sushi kind of
Right.
life?
Yep.
The nervous system says, you know what? Forget about it. In Spanish, we say no doy más. I give no more.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about as dorsal. Dorsal just means your back. So
Right.
it's the back part of the vagus nerve.
Right.
And he talks about that as the shutdown, the disconnect, the deer in the headlights we were referring earlier.
Yeah, that freeze response, the being in survival mode all the time,
And
right?
that keeps us from, oh, no, thank you, I'm not available. What you
Mhm.
said just hurt my feelings. I'd rather not. Can you please? All of that becomes unavailable when
Sure.
we're in sympathetic or dorsal because our
Right.
cognitive capacity is suboptimal
Right.
because you're running from a lion and you're not a fool, or you're playing dead and you're also
Right.
not a fool.
Right. 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah. And so what's coming up for me as you're saying that is the fact that, first of all, the brain can't tell the difference between the line and your perceived stress. So that's the first thing. Like the sushi thing,
Right.
is he mad at me for suggesting sushi
Right.
versus a lion?
Whew.
our brain thinks it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So it puts us in that state. But the
Mm-hmm.
bigger thing is that we are literally pretty much most humans are in this mode in this world that we live in 24 hours a day. We are in that like the modern world has put us into this sympathetic tone
Mm-hmm.
all the time,
All the
right?
time.
Because we don't have the ability to rest and relax and then go back because there's so much stuff coming at us all the time. And I know that this is a common, I mean, I talk about this with my patients
Yeah.
all the time and my
Yep.
students because it's like, how do you, if you're in survival mode, do a freaking affirmation,
Get out of town.
right? Like
Right? No way.
yeah, and I
No.
mean, and it's really interesting because this actually has a lot of correlation to Ayurveda because
Mm.
there are certain doshas that have more of that anxious state that get activated into a sympathetic tone very easily. A vata, air and space, vata or vata pitta, that kind of dosha actually just goes into that mode very, very fast. That's sort of their default. And then you add all of this other stuff, and it's probably the way they are all the time. And I will have patients who will say to me, like, especially when I'm doing yoga therapy with them, I can't sit still to meditate. Like, I get so anxious,
Yeah.
right? Like sitting on a mat trying to close my eyes and meditate, there's no way.
No way.
So, this thing that they've heard about that would help them, the
Mm-hmm.
affirmations, the gratitude journal, the sitting on a mat and meditating, it doesn't
No
work for
way.
everybody. And I think this is a big reason why. There's certain doshas, there's certain people, there's people who have varying degrees of this emotional outsourcing operating system, which is not going to work for.
Not at first.
Exactly. When you
Yeah.
don't know and you're like, why am I always like, I can't relax and meditate?
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's why we need to bring the somatic or body-based work in,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Let's move
Yeah.
into that. Like, what do we do?
Yeah. Well, we need to recognize the body has learned when belonging and worth are outsourced, the body learns that connection requires self erasure, meaning I can't actually walk in the room because I am not good enough or I am too much. I am too big, too loud, or too quiet, whatever your self erasure story is,
Right.
I have to not be me. And so somatic work reverses that by pairing relational moments with self support.
Hmm.
So that, in your great example, that someone's starting to get anxious,
Right.
right? You can come home to your real self by coming home through the body. So somatics, just to back myself, I get excited and I rush to what to do. But let's
Yeah,
in
please. No, tell
context.
me. Well, let's back up for a second before you go
Exactly.
into what does that mean? What is somatic therapy?
Yeah. So soma in Greek means body. And so somatics, the definition I love is the study of the body in its wholeness.
Mm.
So it's the shift from, as Susan McConnell puts it, and I paraphrase, from I have a body to I am my body. So when we are thinking about our feelings, we are not in them. And when we are in sensation, present to sensation, experiencing the self through sensation, we are becoming self-referential. And so it doesn't matter if he likes the sushi or not,
Hmm.
because you feel it in your body that it's what you want, what you need, what's right for you.
Okay.
And so you can move through the world with your body as your guide. And then do I want to go get Elena the wine or do I not?
Okay.
Right. And so all of these little moments you can check in with your body, remembering that socialization and conditioning, because we need to never forget the impact that white supremacy, late stage capitalism, and the patriarchy have on all of these stories
Hmm.
of what matters, what's important, who's good, who's a good body, what's a good choice,
Right.
etc. And all of that conditioning lives up in the head. It's all
Right.
in the mind. It's all thoughts.
Hmm.
And so if we are to change that procedural or implicit memory we were talking about earlier, how do I drive a car? How do I respond to dad or father or your
Right.
husband or whatever? All of that comes through the body.
Hmm.
And so somatics brings us back into real choicefulness.
Hmm.
So to loop this together with polyvagal theory, the nervous system will automatically take over when it smells lion.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. But
Right.
as you so astutely said, we don't know what's a lion and what's an email anymore.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
And so we react to email like lion. Oh my God, my boss wrote to me at 6:00 on a Friday and I'm freaking out before I've even read it because she must be firing me.
Yeah.
And so we don't have choicefulness in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have agency. If we go back to our definition of emotional outsourcing, it's a lack of intentionality. So somatics allows us to slow time down by coming into the body, connecting with the breath, connecting with the earth, connecting with self, not the self we're pretending to be out in the world,
Right.
but our most truest version of self today.
Mm-hmm.
So we can connect internally and make a choice. And that's when the affirmations can actually be helpful, right?
Right.
From that oriented, grounded nervous system that didn't spring into sympathetic activation or shut down in dorsal,
Right.
but stays grounded in the middle and ventral vagal,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Cool, huh?
Yeah, super cool.
That's
And I'm
science.
following what you're saying.
Yeah.
And where the hell do you start? Like,
Right?
how do you even
Yes.
start to do that? Like
Yeah.
for that patient I was telling you about, that
Yeah.
Vata dosha, who says to me, there is no way I can sit on a freaking mat and meditate because I'm so anxious the
Oh, yeah.
second I sit down, like this is not working for me.
no.
I don't know how to meditate.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. I have a podcast episode, probably about 100 episodes ago now at this point, but all about exactly this. It's
Mhm.
called something like Meditation's Not for Everyone. There's a study out of Brown, which is
Right.
where I grew up, all
Mhm.
about how meditation makes a lot of people more anxious.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was fMRI.
Mhm.
Anyway, it
Yeah.
was very cool. Or ECGs, but anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Very cool. So first I'd validate that
Oh,
patient.
of course. Of
Right?
course.
Oh no, I know
Of
you did, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying for the listener at home,
Yeah.
validation.
Sure.
Get-
Like it doesn't,
kitten.
it's not that easy for everybody. Yeah.
No, and it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Right.
not for everybody. So I'd start there. And then I would start with orienting. And so before I get into this, somatic sounds really banal. Like it sounds kind of like dumb. Like, wait, you're really going to tell me to do these really simple, really tiny things, and that's going to like fix me when I'm so broken? And I just want to get ahead of it because I do hear myself, beloved listener. The science is complex and profound. The psychology is quite evidence-based. But yeah, the practices are kind of dumb. But that's what we need.
Yeah.
Right? Because the wounding, the painful story, the attachment wound, it all started when we were very small.
Mm-hmm.
And detached us from the most basic thing, which is like, if you're listening right now, name one sensation in your body and actually feel it.
Most people can't.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So we need to start at that basic level, not because you're dumb or there's
No.
anything wrong with you, but it got trained out of you. So before
Right.
you write it off, our most important skill is called orienting. So, ready, nerds? Here's the science. So when the nervous system has a really hard time tracking when we are. So what being triggered is time travel. When you're 26 or 36 or 56 and something happens, your partner says a thing in that tone that sounds like your super mean middle school principal. And how old are you? 6.
Right.
You're 8. You're like ready to stomp your foot and throw a book. Like you're way back then, but in your grown-up body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what triggers an activation is. The more irrational, the older, generally speaking, as a good handle.
Yeah.
So to orient the nervous system, it's like, when you started a new hospital and you're like, well, here's the Pyxis and here's the nurse's station and here's the storage room and here's where you can hang out and here's the call room. You orient to the floor. Or if you work in an office, here's Jim's desk, here's Pam's desk.
Right.
It's the same thing, but for the brain and the nervous system in a moment of stress.
Mm-hmm.
And we practice it in chill moments. There is no nervous system tool on the planet that I know of that will work if you try it for the first time while you're freaking out. People love to ask it. They're like, well, but what do I do if I'm freaking out? I'm like, you start training 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We got to train. So new neural pathways in the brain, the heuristic, the sort of quick handshake habit of our nervous system takes about 28 days to create a new mental habit or a new nervous system habit. And about 21 to 28 days for the old one to shrivel up and die off from disuse. So it is a bit of time at task, which nobody ever wants to hear these days.
Of course not.
I know. I'm not popular at parties with that one, but
I'm not either. But
a girl's got to be honest, right? Come
Yeah.
on. So what do? We orient the nervous system. This is the banal part. You simply look around. Like you literally look around the space you're in. And what your nervous system is doing is, in its way, remembering, oh, I'm a grown woman. I'm in my own office, in my own house, where I pay the rent because I live here, because I'm a grown-up. And you look around your space and you just take it in. The more freaked out you are, the more stuff you might need to do, like finding, and I like to keep it very simple. What are 5 rectangles in the room you're in?
Yeah.
Name them. Picture, light switch, door, painting, desk. Easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes if the nervous system is very freaked out, we're going to come to the hand. This is one I made up when I told someone to orient to the room and I saw her start heading towards panic. She's like, it's too big. Just look at your little paw. Look at the little lines. Let your nervous system land. Okay, I'm safe. There's no lion here. It's just me and my paw. Okay. So you do that every day, 3 times a day. Once that feels super easy, like and you start to like feel yourself grounding in the moment.
Right.
Then you add feeling your feet on the floor. Then you add a hand on your sternum. Then you add a slow exhale. So when we're in sympathetic, breathing in and a slow exhale brings us down. When we're in dorsal disconnect, we hold our breath. Yeah, so you breathe in, hold, and out. And we practice both. And I really mean setting a timer on your phone.
Yeah.
To remind you at least 3 times a day. Or we can lean on something like the Tiny Habits study out of Stanford and link it to something you do anyway.
Right.
So what does the average woman pee? Like 2,000 times a day?
Yeah.
Every time you pee, as you're washing your hands, orient, find your feet, find the ground, and connect with one sensation. And I say washing your hands because it makes it easy. How does the water feel in your hands? Try the warm, try the hot, try the cold, try the cool.
Right.
And start to connect with sensation. What we're doing is sending the signal of internal safety. Each and every time you stay physically connected to yourself, even alone, you're teaching your nervous system that you can belong, you can show up, you can pay attention to you, you can make you the most important without disappearing and without hurting anyone else. Because that's a fear I hear a lot. I don't want to become a selfish jerk. You won't. Truly, if you're asking the question, don't worry about it. It's the people not asking the question we need to worry about, right?
Right.
And so slowly but steadily, this is step 1 in how emotional outsourcing unwinds. There's clearly a lot more to it. But
Of course. But that's a great place to start because what you're doing is you're really bringing yourself into the present moment of safety. And you're reassuring yourself, I am safe. That's what you're telling yourself, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Another breathing technique that I have often told people, I mean, because in yoga therapy, again, the exhale relaxes you. It puts you in the parasympathetic nervous system. That's what it does. And you want to make that exhale longer.
Yeah.
You can make it longer than your inhale. That's when you start to relax. So even just knowing to do that, make your exhale longer. But there's also this idea, and I know a lot of people have probably heard this physiological sigh. I'm not going to go into all of the, there's a lot of bros who talk about this in wellness culture. But what that is an extended exhale. Just so you all know. It's nothing new. It's nothing magical. It is just making the exhale longer than your inhale.
Yeah.
So if that works for you, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when people start to do this? You start doing this 3 times a day or every time you go pee.
Yeah.
What are we hoping happens now?
More awareness,
Mm,
more presence, and with time, the ability to pause. Because that's what we lack when we don't have choicefulness or agency or intentionality. Life happens and we're reactors. We're not
mhm,
responders.
mhm.
And so the goal is that we can bring in just a moment to say, Thursday? You need help Thursday. Yeah, I'm not available this week, but try me next time. Whereas the old habit is, sure, I'll be there. When, where? I'm there. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Right. And we can bring in that pause that lets us check in. Is this at a great cost to self? Or is this something I want to do? It helps us pause and ask, who am I being? Which I
Right.
think is the most important of questions.
For sure.
And then the big thing we've been working with a lot this last month in Anchored in my coaching group is this question of, is it a problem? Because we tend to either catastrophize and
Right.
globalize, everything's a problem, we are infinitely doomed,
Uh-huh.
or have what in Buddhism translates, and I don't love the translation, but I'll say it and we can break it down, idiot compassion.
Mhm.
Right? Where we, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, till we have no self and we have no savings and we have no time and we've just given ourselves away because again, we've gone to these extremes, and somatic practice can help us find the middle. And that's what unwinding emotional outsourcing is it brings us back to that grounded middle. It's really great to watch.
I
It's
mean,
amazing to watch.
I could listen to you all day. Like, I
Oh,
love your voice. It
well, I'd
is
love to
so
come
fun.
back.
Yes, I
It'll be
mean,
fun.
real
Yeah, let's do it.
honestly, the way that you're explaining things is just so it's so simple to understand because I really wanna make sure the listeners hear this. This is not, like, easy stuff, and it
No.
is very complex because there's
Yes.
so much science
So
embedded
much
in what you
science.
are talking about.
Yeah.
It's all evidence-based, and I think that's really important because that's
Yeah.
something I talk about too, is that,
Yeah.
Ayurveda is 5,000 years old. The things that
Right?
we've been doing for 5,000 years, everything that I teach you, it sounds really simple, but it is so powerful because it's all evidence-based and it's all based on 5,000 years of people doing it successfully.
Yep.
So,
It's so
what
true.
you're talking about is super, super
Mm.
powerful. So I want to ask you this. I
Mm.
always end my podcast episodes with this question because, I call this podcast the Healing Catalyst because I
Mm.
really want people to walk away with something that they can do today that will help catalyze their own healing. So,
Mm.
what is something that someone can do today to start unwinding this emotional outsourcing?
Yeah. So we talked about the things to do.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the driver. So your use of the word catalyst really took me
Mhm.
right there. I love that word. Why do you want to make change? That's the homework I would give. Sit down and look at what your life actually looks like now and allow yourselves to start doing some dream work. Use friends or relatives, use characters from books and TV. Start thinking about what you want your life to look like. Do you want to have easeful communication? Do you want to set healthy limits and boundaries? Do you want to feel strong in your body? Do you want to love your body regardless of the shape? Do you want easy poops? Do you want to sleep like a champ? What do you want in every arena of your life? And start to really see how that can be the catalyst, the driver, the force that keeps you. Because listen, 3 times a day, pausing, orienting, 9 times out of 10, you could be like, yeah, I'll do it later.
Right.
And then you push it off and it's gone. And
Right.
so we need to have the compelling why clearly in mind.
Right.
The studies are clear, my nerd. I love that you're such a nerd. It's so
I love
great.
it.
It's my biggest compliment.
Thank
Um, that it's taking action that creates motivation, right? Because dopamine is an anticipatory molecule. And so it's
Right.
anticipating making the change that makes you want to do the thing to make the change. And so we
Right.
got to have that driving why. Why are you going to orient 3 times a day?
Right.
Right? You'll stop after it won't the first day you won't feel anything, day 2 you quit.
Right.
So really before you try to do the things, get solid about the life you are living into the life you are actively choosing to create, the romantic relationships, the friendships, the everything, and live towards it.
Yeah.
Then do the 3 times a day. Then take those active steps. What do you think?
I love it. I
Oh,
love
good.
everything about this
Oh,
conversation.
good.
I have made a new
Yay.
friend.
Oh,
I adore you. Thank you so much, Bia.
oh, so fun.
It has been such a delight to talk to you. And I think you've been able to explain things in this way that is so real, real situations that all of us feel. Thank you.
Oh
Thank you
my
so much.
gosh. Thank you for having me. This really was a blast.
Okay, so now you understand why this felt like a therapy session for me. I mean, emotional outsourcing, people pleasing, perfectionism, codependency. Bea just laid out the entire operating system that I have been running my entire life. And what I love the most is that she didn't make me feel like I was broken or needed to be fixed. She helped me see that these patterns were actually brilliant survival strategies. They got me here to this point. They just don't have to take me forward anymore. My favorite part, her answer to my last question about finding your why before you try to change anything. She said, before you try to set boundaries or do the nervous system work, get solid about the life that you're living into right now, the life that you're actively choosing to create. That's your future self, or what I like to call your highest self, the version of you that already feels safe, who already knows her worth, who doesn't need to earn love or manage everyone else's emotions for safety. And if that sounds familiar, I actually did an episode on this exact concept back in December called The New Year's Reframe That Will Help You Actually Thrive. It's linked in the show notes for you. These 2 episodes really go hand in hand, so take a listen. Okay, and here's your Health RX takeaway for this week. And this one comes straight from Bea. 3 times a day, pause and orient. Look around the room. Find 5 rectangles. Feel your feet on the floor. Put a hand on your chest. Take a slow exhale. That's it. It sounds really, really simple, I know. But this is how you start teaching your nervous system that you're safe, that you're here, that you're a grown woman who gets to make her own choices now. Set a timer on your phone with alarms, or do it every time you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. Link it to something that you're already doing. Because this isn't about fixing yourself. It's about coming home to yourself. And if you want to take this deeper and get personalized practices for your body, like we talked about on the episode, for your constitution, your dosha, take the free dosha data assessment at myarvasi.com, because generic advice doesn't work. Your nervous system, your stress response, your patterns, they're unique to you. And when you understand your dosha, your constitution, your nature, you finally have a framework for what your body actually needs. Head to myarvasi.com, it's linked in the show notes, and take the free assessment, and then you can get your personalized weekly Health RX, rooted in tradition, backed by science, delivered by physicians, and made for you. Thank you so much for being here. And if this episode hit home, please share it with a friend who really needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, please leave a review, because it really helps the show grow and more people find this work. And remember, healing isn't just possible, it's in your power. I'll see you again next time. Until then, be well. Thank you for listening to The Healing Catalyst. If you found this episode helpful, please hit follow and share it with a friend. And if you feel inspired, please rate and review, because it helps others find this podcast more easily. For more insights and tips, head to my website at avantikumarsingh.com. And to connect with me directly, find me on Instagram at avantikumarsingh. I loved sharing this episode with you. My hope is that you heard something today that sparks a catalyst in your healing journey and helps you build lasting health. Be well, and I'll see you next time. This is a Dante 32 production.